everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio, in Christ Radio, for your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182. I didn't tell Tim he's on television too. Channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We appreciate you being with us today. Now you could be doing anything else, but you're riding home with us, Afternoon Drive Home. We definitely appreciate that. I have a very special guest with me right now, and his name is Tim Fulgham. Is that how I pronounce your name?
Fulgham.
Fulgham. Okay.
Yes.
That's as bad as Fiesel.
My
My last name. I'm from here, by the way. My husband is actually from Texas. So,
okay.
but I am one of y'all, you know. And I know Tim is too. Tim, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Donna.
Well, tell me about your music. We're excited about it.
Well, I do faith country, do some traditional, what I would call Henson style stuff too. Is what I kind of grew up on, but kind of moved into a faith country genre. Wrote a song about a year and a half called "He Rescues Me." First song I ever released. It went top 40 on 3 charts, and so we were really kind of overwhelmed. It was a blessing, didn't see coming. And second song we released broke top 30, and I just signed with Steeple Country in Nashville, and took a 3-year deal with them. And they've released my first song, and we're just it's kind of mainstream faith country. We're excited to see what God's going to do with it.
That sounds really good. You know, we go to the Cowboy Church.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On a Lookout Mountain out in Collinsville, kind of between Collinsville and Fort Payne. And I will tell you, we need to get you in touch with them because they love having country artists come in.
I've been to Collinsville many times for trade day, early in the mornings.
Yeah, and it is early in the mornings. You got to get there, and that's where they have the dogs and the cats and the chickens.
That's right. Donkeys and
anything else. And stuff that my grandmother used to call junk sells pretty high out there too.
It really does, yes.
Farmhouse. So why Christian music?
Dad was a Pentecostal preacher. I grew up singing with Mom in church, and cut my teeth on the church pews, and just where I learned to sing and kind of stay with my roots.
Absolutely. I thought that we probably had something similar. I'm a PK too.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, we get raised up by the hair of the head, don't we?
We sure do. And they taught us what was right. That's for sure.
That's true. And how to overcome obstacles. So that kind of helps when you're in the music business.
That's right. Yes. Dad was a prayer warrior. That's what I would say. That's what I most remember about Dad. He was an average preacher, but he was a great prayer warrior, and he kind of instilled that into us, and it's a valuable asset.
Oh yeah, that's extremely important. When sometimes people will say, you know, Donna, what can I do to help your business? I'll say, pray. You know, everything else just kind of happens. Success follows when you
That's
do
right.
that. You know, people are having a lot of struggles right now. Are your songs about struggle, or what are your songs about mainly?
They are. I wrote a song. I hate to keep referring back to my dad. My dad pastored the same church 38 years. I lost him to COVID in February of last year.
Right.
And I wrote a song about my dad called Daddy Was. And it was a song about my struggles. The other song I mentioned, He Rescues Me, I wrote about a very difficult time in my life. I wrote a song called How Long. The second song I mentioned earlier, it was kind of out of my prayer life, asking God, you know, how long before the return of Christ? And so I like to think of my music as something personal that tells a personal story. If I'm recording a song that maybe someone else has written, I recorded some songs that a gentleman named False Daniel, actually from Fort Payne, wrote a couple of my songs. And but I always try to find a song, whether I'm the writer or someone else is the writer, that kind of relates to my life and it has kind of personal aspect to it.
You know, that makes you real. And I think when you're up there on the stage, people wonder, you know, I mean, everybody does. I wonder if he's been through that. I wonder if she has been through some of the same things I've been through. But the more I know people, the older I get, the more I find we're the same.
Yes. We all have our struggles. Sometimes they may seem different, but in reality, they're much the same.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the first song you mentioned to us about the struggles. So
okay,
let's talk about that song.
I wrote He Rescues Me. I was actually sitting in my office where I am now, right now at my desk one afternoon, and just the line came to me. I've been playing music all my life. I'm an accomplished steel guitar picker, and play a variety of other instruments. But God gave me the line. He rescues me, and I just began to write the song. It took about 20 or 25 minutes to write the song. It just kind of flowed, and I stood at my piano, which is right in front of me in my office, and the chord chart just came, and the tears began to come, and there was just an anointing. There was a passion on the song. And I went on Facebook Live, craziest thing I've ever done. And I'd only written it 10 minutes earlier, and I sang it live on Facebook. And it had several thousand views. It just touched a lot of hearts. And a friend of mine, if I mentioned his name, everyone would know him. He said, "Man, you need to record that song. You ought to go in the studio and record that song." And we did, and we released it. And God blessed it, and it kind of opened the door for what's happening. That song opened the door.
I'm glad, that happened for you. Success just always follows. When you write a song from passion, something you've actually went through, I think that's probably, I'm not a songwriter. I'm just saying that the greats, I mean, it comes from passion and loving
Yes.
people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it does. It just really does. So let's talk a little bit further about that, because I'm telling you what, we're going through some really struggles in America right now. And
Yes.
that, and I've even heard older folks say, I've never been through anything like this before, like the food shortages and, but how much of those things are real, or if they've just been brought in by the media, to cause a scare?
Well, I'm an eschatology student. I've spent my life studying the end time. So you asked me a question that could open Pandora's box. So be careful. But I think that we are seeing things that's going to usher in the end of times, the return of Christ. I know we've heard it all our life, and our parents, our grandparents, and our great grandparents were looking for the Lord's return. But I think the signs that we're seeing begin to unfold. Matthew 24. I think that our generation is going to see the return of Jesus Christ. And I think these things we're seeing happen should invoke fear in us. They should invoke enthusiasm to want to please the Lord, to be excited about Christ's return, because he is coming. He is coming.
I think so too. And you just mentioned really a key point right there. I think fear is the biggest issue we have. And the great divider likes to divide us all with fear.
Yes, ma'am.
Create sensations where you're afraid to get out of the bed and that kind of thing. Now, I have to say this, I was not crazy about COVID. I didn't like it, but I wasn't afraid of it. Does that make sense?
Right. Right. It does. It does. My dad, I think, but he was elderly. He'd had some other health issues, and it was just what God chose. But I remember coming home the night Dad died, and I went to the piano. It's kind of funny how I guess artists escape to their music. And the night I came home from the hospital, it was 1:30 in the morning, and I went to the piano and found my comfort in music. But I had the peace of knowing that Dad, he had things right with God, and that's really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, because I had COVID as well. I have asthma, so it was a double whammy there. It was not fun to get, but I didn't fear. I thought I might die. I didn't know. And so, but I didn't fear it, because now when I was younger, I probably would have. But the thing about growing older is you don't fear things like you did before. And
Yes, ma'am.
we keep talking about fear. But another thing about fear is I think sometimes we fear things that are just not going to happen.
We do. We sure do. But maybe it's our nature. I don't know if it's our human nature, or if it's maybe it's Satan's way of trying to distract us from our faith. But I think we all have an element of fear at times, myself included.
Me included. I mean, absolutely. But I think a lot of mine has, when I stopped watching the news all the time. And I'm in the business, I've got to know what's going on. So I talk to politicians and I talk to other folks as well. So I do need to know what's going on around me, but I learned to pace it a bit.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a Fox News fan. I watch Fox News in the morning when I have my coffee. And I try to watch it all with an open mind. I mean, and I think that's what we have to do. And I want to be aware, alert, so to speak, what's going on in the world. But I don't think we should be overtaken with fear either. I mean, I think if we How did David say it? I've been young and now I'm old. I've never seen the righteous nor their seed begging for bread. And if we're going to go to church, I mean, we might as well believe what the book says.
Well,
And we got to trust.
how do you stay with it, Tim? Because a lot of people have just been disappointed, and we've had church online and those things, and a lot of folks have decided, well, I don't want to go to church anymore. It's just easier just to hang around in my pajamas and watch it on TV. What do you say?
I'm sorry.
You must have had a phone call come in.
I did. I cut it off. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. This is worth repeating, okay? Because, when COVID hit, we all started watching television online.
Right.
And our church made it really convenient, but my attention span's not that good, Tim. I mean, I could think of a million reasons. Oh, there's a spider web. I could do stuff like that and get off of it. So I really need to be in church. So what do you say to folks who say, well, you know what? I just don't think I want to go to church. I can watch it online. Is there anything wrong with that? Or, is
I don't want to judge one. I really don't. I think that we maybe sell ourselves short. But I like to gather together with my brothers and sisters in Christ. And it's like there's a special a bond, maybe a special bond that you can get by just worshiping together that you can't get at home in the privacy of your home.
Mm-hmm. Man,
I mean,
that.
I want you to go on. I want everyone to go on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, and download my music. I mean, it's everywhere. But I really prefer that you come hear me in concert live, and I pray that there's there's a special anointing just being in the presence of something live, and I think that applies to church in all sense of the word.
I do too. You know what? We got to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. By the way, Tim, I'll take you off of the video and then I'll invite you to come back in. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Charity fundraiser to help families in need, toys at Christmas, or to support our local football team. We hear from you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for being part of Liberty Bank. Remember FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest My Pillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere My Pillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have My Pillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing My Pillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last. Hello.
We're about to make your life just a little bit easier. Join Tony and April at Tony's Pizza and Subs in Center and Cedar Bluff, Alabama. We're cooking up some hot and delicious pizzas, and we'd like to bake one for you. We are home-owned, not a chain, and our pizzas are fresh, homemade with our dough made fresh daily. We have a full menu including fresh, never frozen wings, salad bars, suds, sandwiches, and much more. In Center, we have a private dining area for birthday parties, club meetings, and other events. We'll be waiting for you at 1820 East Bypass in Center, and in Cedar Bluff, 3812 Alabama Highway 9. For your convenience, you can call in your order at our Center location, 256-92 Pizza, or Cedar Bluff, 256-557-8651. And we enjoy making your life easier. We're back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. I think Tim's about to come back in. You know what? I think the best telephone number you can have is 92 Pizza. Isn't that a great one? Area code 256-92 Pizza. You need to go ahead and check these folks out at Tony's Pizza. They are really good. And they are in Center, Alabama, and some absolute awesome folks to do business with as well. I've been talking with Tim, and there he is. Tim is back. Did you hear that telephone number? 256-92 Pizza.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the best number ever.
I can pizza right now. I'm hungry.
I can do the pizza. I really can. Okay, Tim, thank you so much for being back with us. And it's so great to have you on the show. Time flies. We only have about 12 minutes left in this segment.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes pretty fast. We've been talking about several different things. What makes you sing, and why do you like to sing? And I'm seeing that passion there, and that's what you gotta have. And man,
I remember not singing. I remember standing in a chair beside my mother and singing the high part over her when I was just young. I mean, really young. And my sister sang. We sang together, trio, mom, my sister, and I. And I can't remember not singing. It's just always been a part of my life.
that's pretty cool. So now you also play several instruments.
I do. Yeah.
Earlier.
My favorite is still guitar. I write all my music on keys, on piano, but I really consider myself a steel guitar player, bass player. Everything else is just kind of, I can do it and get by if you really need me to.
Let's talk a little bit about getting folks out. You know, going to church, and I don't think you're having any problems right now. We have actually a Music in the Park event we have here in Geraldine that's every May, and for the past 2 years, I mean, people around this area are bussing to get out. You know, there's being cooped in. How are things that you're seeing out on the road?
Well, I live in Montevallo, which is the dead center of the state of Alabama, and life is normal around here. I mean, churches are normal, restaurants are full. It's life is normal. I think people are going on with their lives.
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear too. And this is here too, but now, you know, we had a hard time getting people to wear a mask when they really needed to.
Right.
And I can't wear one because of my asthma, so I just chose to stay home, you know, so I didn't get anybody else infected in case that happened. But yeah, music. It's all about it. Now, we've talked a little bit about struggles. Do people come to you and sometimes think maybe you wrote a song about them because of the lyrics in the song?
I've never had anyone do that. I have had, I wrote a very personal song one time that kind of told my personal testimony. It's called I've Been the Mercy Seat. It's out there. It's available on all your digital platforms. But there was a lot of people related to that song, and I had hundreds of people reach out to me and say, I've been through something similar to that, or pray for my family member that's going through something similar to that. And I guess that's the greatest reward with a song, when you know it's reaching somebody's heart, touching somebody's heart. That's what it's really all about.
If you had to choose one word to help folks, just one word, what would that one word be?
Hope. Hope. Definitely hope.
I hear that one a lot. You know, because a lot of folks feel like, you know, again, now stop watching the news, guys. Stop watching the news. You got to know what's going on, but quit, okay? Not so much. Just the basics of what's happening. But, we're hearing all these negative things, people against each other and all that stuff. So what do you say to somebody that, a lot of friendships have been broken over Facebook with people coming up with different opinions? That's ridiculous. And what do you think about that?
I think Facebook can be a great tool for the kingdom if it's used for that. And I have a Facebook and have a lot of followers, and use it for my music, for testimony, pictures of my grandchildren. I have 5, by the way.
Now that's the kind of Facebook page I like. I want to see grandkids and stuff.
And that's right. Or if I'm cooking, I'm a cook. I love to cook. I live in the country, and I'm a country cook. And I'll share a lot of my time in the kitchen on my Facebook and things like that. And I think, like all social media, if we use it for positive things, I think it has positive results.
Well, what do you say to somebody who wants to argue with you on your Facebook? What would be your way of combating that?
I would probably block them.
I do that.
I don't argue and debate. Life's too short.
It is. I'll tell you what, I've done several times. I got a lot. I've been in television for a really long time. And so I had someone on the show one time who was a little argumentative. And so some conservatives got mad at me, said I didn't fight enough. And then, because I'm one of those neutral people, I let you say your thing, I don't tell you right or wrong. And then, of course, liberals got mad at me and, said, no, you were too conservative. So you can't please everybody anyway. So everybody who said, they were mad at me and all that kind of stuff, I said, I'm not going to argue with you. I still love you. And they would come back and they'd try to taunt me and get me to say stuff, and I just won't do it. I always say, I love you. It works every time. It drives people crazy when you do that.
Well, they can't argue with that. They really can't.
It's just the way it goes. Absolutely. What are some of your favorite Bible scriptures? What calms you down when you're in a weird mood?
I think my favorite verse in the Bible is Hebrews 11:1. And I feel more like a preacher today than I do a singer, but that's okay. I mean, God knows exactly what he's doing. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The key word is now. And I have misunderstood that verse for a long, long time. And when Paul was writing that one verse, and he goes into the hall of faith and talks about the results of what faith had did in people's life, when he said now faith is, he wants us to we're looking back at the cross. This is what he's saying. He said, now this is presently what faith is. Faith was at one time only something hoped, H-O-P-E, but now faith has substance. And Paul was wanting us to see that we're standing on the other side of the cross. We have the results of the cross that we're standing upon. So it's not something merely hoped for. We have the testimony and the results of what Christ did. And that's my favorite verse, Hebrews 11:1. No charge for that one.
I love that one too. Now, what do you think? You think God sometimes kind of uses us as little guinea pigs? But the reason I'm saying that is my biggest thing is when I'm driving down the road and somebody pulls in front of me and then they drive really slow and they turn left. That can really, I can lose my testimony over that one. And I can't, but people are watching us. So sometimes do you think we go through things just kind of like as a test, just to see how we react? And if other people are watching us, they're watching to see how we react.
I think that's very true. And what's really sad, we're living in a generation where there's so many critics. People are so critical. And as Christians, I mean, we have to always remember they have their eyes on us, and we need to be a positive testimony and a positive. And I fail at that miserably sometimes. I really do. I wished I could say I'm perfect, but I'm, like Paul said, I'm on the other side of the equation, so to speak, sometimes. But Lord, help us be a better example. That's my prayer.
The one thing you really don't want to do is have a Jesus sticker on your car bumper.
Oh my.
And then do something you shouldn't do that's not appropriate, because people really are watching us, aren't they? Just to see how we react to things.
They are. They sure are. And how do we live up to people's expectations? I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard. We just have to do our best.
Because people expect you, because you're a Christian, they think you should be perfect. there's no way I'm ever going to be perfect.
I think if we expect perfection of ourselves, we live in a constant state of disappointment. And if we just say, God, okay, I need your grace every day, that I think that's the key.
Yeah, you just mentioned another word, and that's grace. So
Yes,
we've
ma'am.
got to have the grace, and so people can actually see that through us. I used to work with a guy, or close to a guy. I had a business in the Quintard Mall in Oxford years and years ago, and there was a guy who was a Muslim, and he had an ice cream place right by me. I didn't, and this is back when 9/11 happened. Now everybody hated everybody back in those days, still do. But the guy gave me some respect. But I think he did because I gave him some respect. Now he was praying to his God, and I will tell you this about Muslims: they are really at it. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
they will pray several times a day, and so I would have sometimes to go to the back of the mall to get some supply. And sometimes when I was doing that, he would be praying to his God, which is not the true God, by the way. But anyway, he would be praying to him. Well, some of my customers said, why don't you just slam doors and all this kind of stuff? And I said, because I don't want him slamming doors on me. So what he's doing.
But how lead him to Christ by presenting yourself that way in front of him?
I couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
so I would, not that I believed his way, it's just that I would gently close the door so it didn't slam. And
Oh.
what he started doing every Christmas, he would walk up to me and say, Merry Christmas to you, and it kind of surprised me the first time he did it. And then on Easter, and not that I'm this in kind of a perfect person or anything, but I think because I just played a little bit of respect there. I think he just played some for me. Now, did I believe in it? No, I believe in that. But then I got to thinking about that. If I'm mean-spirited to him and I slam doors and I'm just saying all kinds of off-the-cuff remarks to him, if he's ever thinking about being a Christian, I don't think he would ever come to me to ask guidance.
Yeah. Our life is our testimony, isn't it?
Yeah, it most certainly is. We've got less than 2 minutes left in this segment. How can folks find your music? And do you have a website?
Well, it's Tim Fulgham. The easiest way is going to be on all digital platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, anything like that. YouTube. I am on Facebook. It's Tim Fulgham. And
now spell your last name for folks.
Okay, Fulgham. My new song is It Ain't Easy Being God. It was released about a little less than 30 days ago. So look it up, check it out. If you haven't downloaded it, download it for us. And we're excited to share it with you. Love for you to hear it.
Absolutely. And remember now, to all of our listeners out there, you can download our app, icradio.media, and look for this guy, okay? And ask for his music. And who knows, he'll probably be in the top 50. And this is what happens, Tim. Every time somebody's on the show, you wind up in the top 50 you listen to.
Oh, that's wonderful. That'd be great. Yes.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and give out your information one more time because you need to download his music.
Okay. It's Tim Fulgham, Fulgham. Tim Fulgham. Facebook, all digital platforms. You can reach me through Millennium Music in Kennedy, Alabama, through Steeple Country in Nashville, Tennessee. Most any magazine. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Oh,
okay.
20 seconds left. Tim, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been fun.
Thank you, Miss Donna, for having me. It was a joy.
And I enjoy you listening to us. You're the world's best listeners. Find us again tomorrow, same time, okay, with another awesome guest like Tim. You take care. We'll be back. Bye, Tim. Good to meet you.
Thank you.